Okay, well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Platinum's Inspirational Travel Evenings, and we're on night number 3. The week is flying in. Can't believe how fast this week is going. So thank you, everybody who's joined us for the last couple of nights already, and those of you that are joining us for the first night this evening. We are really enjoying these evenings, more than I think we thought we would. Paula, would you agree with me? We're kind of really getting into the swing.
Stepping into it now.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're thrilled to have some great partners on this evening. I'll introduce you first of all to Paula. That's Paula who spoke a minute ago. I think you all know Paula at this stage, or you've a lot of regular clients on the call this evening, and a lot of new clients too. And then we have Brian Hines from UniWorld and Inside Vacations. I mentioned UniWorld because I see it's still on your screen there, Brian. I forgot to change it. Brian is also representing Inside Vacations and Luxury Gold, but he was here with us last night, so he's a regular. Exactly. And then we have Sarah Revel from Rocky Mountaineer, who's joining us for the first time tonight, and she's a huge supporter of Ireland and looking after us on everything to do with Rocky Mountaineer. So we'd be lost without her. So welcome to Sarah as well.
Happy.
So we're here. So we'll open with a lovely new quote this evening, trying to pick a new quote every night. So we travel not to escape life, but for life not to escape us. And I think that pretty much says it all. Moving quickly on, those of you that have been here this week, I'm going to run a test at the end to see if you can learn this slide off by heart. I'm sorry if you're hearing me repeat it every evening, but because we have new people joining us every evening, we're just giving a quick background on Platinum Travel. So for those of you that have heard it before, switch on some music. For those of you hearing it for the first time, enjoy it. So just a quick overview. We're here since 2005. We're going into our 16th year this year. We can't believe it. We, from day one, have always had the same ethos of a friendly personal service, attention to detail, and keeping real friendly with our clients, because we know it's important how we listen to you guys and what you want to do, where you want to go. And it's the small little things that make all the difference. Our team are very, very experienced. We have experience in pretty much most areas of travel at this stage: corporate, leisure, cruising, touring, incoming groups, sports groups, weddings abroad, honeymoons. We've touched everything at this stage. We have a couple of niche markets, which we'll explain as we go over these 8 nights, but we have pretty much touched everything. So if there's anything you want, I'm sure we'll be able to look after you. We train constantly, both in the office, which it's been for the last year, and abroad at conferences and destinations. This is so we can constantly bring new product to our clients. So if there's a new destination that's, maybe is coming out that hasn't been around before, or is only new to tourism, or there's new, like we have tours with Brian or rail with Sarah, that's what we do, constantly training ourselves. And especially with the likes of products that, in this year with new COVID rules coming out, what's changed with the airlines, what's changed with the cruise ships, and that's what we're training with constantly. We only work with reputable partners worldwide. I think the people that we've had this evening and all week pretty much speak for themselves. The likes of Inside Vacations and Luxury Gold and Rocky Mountaineer are experts at what they do. I mean, they really are amazing in every part of their product. So we know when our clients travel with them that they will be very well looked after from start to finish. There's no point in us doing our job at this end and then handing them over to somebody who's not experienced. So we're very fussy about who we use abroad. Finally, penultimately, we're licensed and bonded by CAR. For those of you that don't know, CAR are the Commission for Aviation Regulation in Ireland, and every travel agent and tour operator should be licensed and bonded by CAR. I would highly recommend that anybody booking a holiday in Ireland in 2021 and here on into the future, you use a licensed and bonded agency. You can go onto the website and see who's licensed and bonded, and if their name is there, you're good to go. Ideally, of course, we'd love you to all book with us, but our industry is small. We look after each other, and this year the camaraderie has been amazing. So a booking for the industry is a booking for everyone. And most importantly, you guys are safe. Your money is safe, and you are safe when you book with a licensed and bonded agency and tour operator. And finally, additional safety, 24/7 emergency contact. When you book your holiday, you know you've somebody there all the time. Thankfully, over the years, we've only had a handful of emergencies, but we have been there, and we have got people home, we have got people abroad. So it's really important that you can have peace of mind when you travel. So that's the boring stuff out of the way. Those of you that have been on Zoom before will know about the chat boxes and the Q&A. Those of you that aren't familiar, you'll see at the bottom of your screen the option to ask questions, to put up your hand, to type in the chat box. We'd encourage you to do this. There's no question that's too silly or too stupid. You know, we ask all the questions here ourselves all the time. So we're constantly wanting people to learn more. So anything you think of, throw it in there. Any comments if you've been on the trips or you want to go on a trip or you like something you see, pop it in the chat box and we'll make this a fun, relaxed event. So moving on and away from me, I'm going to introduce what we have this evening. So it's our luxury tour and rail evening. And this is just going to make you want to be away immediately. Brian is going to run through Inside Vacations and Luxury Gold. They have tours all over the world. And then Sarah's going to follow on then with the amazing Rocky Mountaineer and their exciting new route that they have this year as well. So I will hand you over to Brian, and as soon as you're ready to share your screen, Brian, and tick all those boxes, I'll stop sharing here and enjoy, everybody. Sit back and relax.
Just bear with me now there.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time. No worries. Just like seeing your name on screen, Brian. I know that's what it is.
Yeah, and you're not sharing screen there at the moment, are you?
I am. Do you want me to stop? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's best.
Sorry, that was my fault, Brian. I delayed it there.
Of course it was your fault, Karen. I'm a professional. That would never, ever happen to me.
We're not inviting you back now.
I think people will be sick of me after 2 days. So I think, that's perfect. So let me know when you can see that.
Yeah, that looks perfect.
You should see a big welcome. Lovely, lovely. Thank you, Ciara. Thank you, Paula. Delighted to be here again tonight. I know I was here last night talking about all things UniWorld. And delighted to be here representing two of our brands, Inside Vacations and Luxury Gold. Really looking forward to listening to Sarah later on. I love the Rocky Mountaineer, and it's definitely on my bucket list. And it works really well because it comes into one of our trips on Luxury Gold. So I'll be asking Sarah to give me some of her knowledge in a few moments' time. So what I'm going to do is just talk you through what Inside Vacations and Luxury Gold, the brands, what are they, what they represent, why you might like to go on them on your next vacation, next holiday. Got some really good videos, actually, inspirational videos, just to get us in the mood. And then I'm going to talk about two trips, just briefly, two Luxury Gold trips and two Inside Vacation trips, just to whet the appetite a little bit. And then I'll pass you over to the lovely Sarah. Right, so for those who were here last night, you would have maybe heard me mention the word the Travel Corporation. The Travel Corporation is a family of brands, a family-run company. I think there's 40 plus small little niche brands. UniWorld is one of them, but we actually have 5 touring brands. So this is our kind of portfolio, just to kind of let you know exactly where these brands sit within our portfolio. So we've got a youth brand called Contiki. We've got a really good flexible travel brand called Cost Saver, really popular at the moment. One of our oldest brands is actually Trafalgar. You'll have seen the coaches go around Ireland or internationally. Very, very old and reputable 4-star contemporary brand. Tonight I'm going to talk about the premium brand and the luxury brand. So premium being our Inside Vacations, which is kind of 4.5-star boutique style touring. And then our luxury, our 5-star kind of bucket list trips, which is Luxury Gold. So what I'm going to do is let you have a listen to this video. Inspirational video for a minute or so. Wow. Take me on holiday now. Get back to what you love. We certainly do love travel. All of us here, the Irish are massive travelers, and the world is opening back up slowly but surely. And that's why we're here tonight, to try to give you some inspiration and plan your next couple of vacations and holidays, because there's so much pent up demand at the moment. So for ourselves, an Insight Vacation, as I said, we are a premium escorted tour company. Well, let's talk about obviously the big things at the moment, well-being, COVID, and procedures. So we work with the WTTC and the WHO. We've put in place loads and loads of protocols for when we do get back to travel, how we will reduce the risk for our drivers, our travel directors, the hotels in the post-COVID, and obviously our guests as well. So we've put a full list of protocols. They're available on the website for you guys to have a look at, just to give you that peace of mind. And I think touring, and we chatted last night about river cruising as well, that kind of smaller niche way of traveling, I just think is a great way for maybe your first trip post COVID. Small numbers, excellent service, everything's looked after, even for when Sarah's going to have a chat to you later on. Every part of the Rocky Mountaineer, every part of our trips from start to finish is completely looked after. From our suppliers to the hotels we stay in, to the suppliers we use, such as Rocky Mountaineer, all those protocols that we put in place will be adhered to going forward. So you can have complete peace of mind. And again, kind of lastly on the hygiene, again, we've got a 24-hour 365 always on support team. We've got protocols for hygiene and distancing within our coaches, and cleanliness and spacing out, particularly on our Insight Vacation. I'm going to show you, they really lend themselves to a kind of a social physical distancing, and again 24/7 response as well. So they're the nitty gritty of a kind of what we've put in place. Insight Vacations really is all about, as you say, our slogan says, it's about seeing the sights, but also delving deeper and seeing the real insights and getting up close and personal and doing it. It's a premium product in comfort and in style. And that's really what this brand is. It's a boutique 4.5 star product. It is a really way of seeing a destination, getting really kind of down into the nitty gritty, being personal with the destination, but really you are doing it in style and comfort. And I'll show you exactly in a couple of moments. So all of our trips, we have an amazing travel director who come with you. They really are industry leaders, and they really do add to your experience. These guys have 5 to 15, 20 years experience doing escorted touring all over the world, and they really can lend that personal. It's like having a local with you at all times. They can speak the languages. They know on your free time restaurants that you want to go to, where to go shopping. I was in Venice with them a couple of years ago, and I wanted a gelato, and they knew exactly where to go. I wanted a lovely coffee. They brought us the favorite coffee shop. So they really are a wealth of knowledge, and they really do differentiate us from our competition, because they really are. It's a profession for them. We do development courses with them every year, so they really are part of the family. I think one of the big things we have, there's lots of escorted touring companies out there, but we try to offer unique experiences, and this is completely unique to ourselves in the Travel Corporation. So Trafalgar and Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold. So when we go to the Vatican, just to give you an example of these Insight experiences, we go VIP style. So you can get a VIP entry and get in early with the Vatican. We actually go in before those ones that you can buy online. So we're the first people into the Vatican. We get a private guide of the Sistine Chapel. Absolutely amazing. We're in the museum before anyone even gets a foot in the door. We're down in the Sistine Chapel. Like, it really is, money can't buy what we have in this one. On the right hand side, we also have a lovely picture there. That's the Bramante staircase. That is a section where nobody else, private or on a tour, are allowed except guests of Insight Vacation. So we have a very, very unique proposition in the Vatican. We have a relationship with them. And this is something that's quite what we'll see on the rest of our trips. We'll always incorporate these Insight experiences. So essentially, we're opening doors to experiences that literally money can't buy. So it really is wow factor on that. I did say about comfort and style. I don't know whether anyone's been out to the Holiday World Show in recent years. We've had a beautiful coach out there. So a standard coach can have 50 plus seats on it. So what we do is we get it in and we customize it, and we put 40 seats maximum. So you do get double the leg room on it. And I'll show you some pictures. You got a big toilet at the back. You got your Wi-Fi, and even the fact that it's less people on board. It's less time when people are getting on, less time when people are getting off. It really speeds everything up about it as well. So as I said, our maximum on our classic groups is 40. We average about 33. This year, because of COVID, because we noticed the demand for smaller groups, on all of our major trips, we'll have a small group departure. And the guys in Platinum will be able to identify them if you want a small group departure, with a maximum of 24, and we still have the coach. I was showing the guys this picture earlier on today, and they said the first thing they said was the windows. Yeah, massive big Vista windows. There's no not a bad seat in the house, and if you are traveling independently, you'll be able to sit in the two seats by yourself. So again, we'll allow for social and physical distancing as well. So for those who are traveling as part of a family bubble, if you've got maybe some relatives, 2 or 3 groups of people, family, friends, and you've got over 12, we can actually make the departure private, and we can also bespoke the itinerary. So if it's a trip that maybe could be 10 days and you only have a week, speak to the guys in Platinum, and we will work together to bespoke a trip for you guys, and still include all those amazing inside experiences that we have as well. Big thing about us is the food. 50% of your breakfast every day, and then 50% of your meals are included. I love the stuff, like a lot of people will say when you go on an escorted trip, you don't have choice. That's exactly what you do have in Inside Vacations. We have dine around options. My one I done recently was in Bruges a couple of years ago, and we came into Bruges, and the travel director gave us 3 different menus, and we were able to choose what restaurant we wanted to eat that evening, and then they dropped us off, so we're able to really put our own spin on things. But we'll have stuff like cooking demonstrations, dine at home, um, dine in local restaurants. A lot of people will try and eat. A lot of other companies will eat in the hotel. We do that sometimes because we of necessity, maybe in a national park, but we really try to eat in local restaurants that we have a relationship and we've vetted. But food is a big thing in an Inside Vacations trip. So a big thing as well, we'll always stay in the right location. So a picture there is Zion National Park. We stay in the national parks, whether it be Yosemite, Zion, Yellowstone. It's all about staying in the right location. But when we're in the cities, we'll stay in the heart of the city. We might give up extra swimming pool and facilities for location. It's location, location, location. And we've got a beautiful property there in the Mayflower. When our clients come into Ireland, or if you want to do a trip around Ireland, we stay out in Ashford Castle in Cong and Mayo, because it's part of the same company that own it as well. So the Scotia Shy, we do stay in style. So what I'd say about escorted touring, it's seamless, stress-free. We're going to have an amazing travel director. For 2022, we're going to have a well-being director, which is an extra body on board, making sure all those protocols that we've put in place are being adhered to. And again, if anyone did get sick, that person will be there to help out and make arrangements and stuff as well. So 24-hour support. So feel free, feel relaxed, feel seamless, and enjoy your holiday. But it is all about choice, your inside choice. You've got multiple choice of activities that you can do yourself. It's all part of the price. Again, you've got choice in your group size. So it really is down to yourself to make that trip very, very personal. Touch on briefly, 2 of our biggest trips is New England fall foliage. Actually, the biggest trip in Ireland and in the UK is New England fall foliage, where you come into Boston, we then leave Boston and out to Williamston in Massachusetts, and then it's just absolutely stunning up to Vermont for a couple of days. There's a trip and this as well to the Ben and Jerry ice cream factory. There's amazing experiences, hiking opportunities, walking opportunities. It's all about that fall foliage. So this only operates in September and October this year, so still time. Let's see what happens with COVID this year. There could be 2021 people heading out from Ireland. I know people are booking for 2021, but 22 will also be available. Into North Conway for a couple of days, and then back down the coast to Portland, Maine, beautiful seafood, and back down to Boston. So that is a real popular one from Ireland. And Europe, we do Europe, North America, and South America, and also out to India and Nepal. But this is probably one of the biggest ones as well, where it's more leisurely paced, easy pace. Italy, fly into the Vatican, into Rome. Instead of doing that Vatican trip that I talked about, we do one better. We go in the afternoon, VIP, skip the queue. We go in. There's other people there. Everyone leaves. We stay in the Vatican, And then we have an after-hour meal in the Vatican Museum, and we also get to visit the Pope's private gardens. Again, completely exclusive to Inside Vacations and the Travel Corporation. Like, money can't buy that experience. So that's a real kind of feature we have in that one. But you get 3 days, you can unpack your bag and relax and not have to worry about kind of constantly moving, which is, people always give a negative about escorted touring, but there's always a trip that you can go on. So easy pace is for people who want to relax, up to Florence, and then we go via Verona, Lake Garda to Venice for 3 nights, and we finish off there. So a beautiful 9 days in Italy, very, very popular. As I said, everyone at the moment that's offering trips are very, very flexible, peace of mind, committed to well-being. So definitely chat to the guys in Platinum Travel. If you're interested in any of that, I'm going to go past the questions. We'll do them at the end because I'm doing the 2 brands. So Luxury Gold is our 5-star offering. It's very much a kind of a bucket list experience. We go from 4.5-star boutique style up to 5-star. Our group size for 2022 then comes down to a maximum of 24. So you're really getting that personal experience. And it really is a comic. It really has the synergy then with, if you guys listening last night, Uni World, our Red Carnation and Luxury Gold all kind of sit in the same bubble, that kind of 5-star experience as well. So the mantra of all 3 is no request too large, no detail too small. So we really do bring in the synergy with Uni World and Red Carnation. Got a little video for you if you sit back and relax. Moments of gold, absolutely. Some stunning destinations there, as you can see, worldwide. We don't have loads of trips, but the ones we do are absolutely amazing. So briefly on that Luxury Gold, it's all about exclusive VIP experiences. So we're kind of moving it up a level, exceptional dining, kind of elevating all those things that we talked about in the previous brand, just upping them slightly up to that kind of 5-star experience. So just give you one briefly on this one, VIP experience. So in Graceland, we go in to Graceland, we get a tour of Graceland, and again, we stay there after hours and have a dinner in the Elvis's, just outside the house where he keeps all his cars. It's a private experience we have there as well. And one of my favorites is after hours in the Temple of Luxor in Egypt. So these, again, very, very unique experiences, small groups, and really, really luxury. Food is massive again, and it's ranges and experiences. Like, we do have some Michelin star experiences around the world, but it's really, a very relaxed atmosphere. We might have a cooking demonstration. In India, we have street food. It's a combination of kind of high end and then kind of getting involved in the cooking experience as well. So not just a rich palate, very much a case of all avenues of dining as well. Hotels we stay in, as I said, we do up to a 5-star level. Where possible, we do stay in our Red Carnation hotels because it's all part of our travel corporation. You see Ashford Castle there on the left. On the middle picture there on the top is the Lion Sands out in South Africa, in the national park there. Absolutely amazing. But we'll stay in resort, natural reserves, chateaus where appropriate, but definitely really, really unique places to stay. So people who go are generally 60 plus, I would say, for Luxury Gold. Definitely people maybe have wedding anniversary, special occasion, bucket list trips. Just someone who wants to do a trip and do it well and tick it off the list, and it's somewhere they always wanted to go, and they trust us to give them that experience. So very much a case of all sorts. Traveling concierge is a travel director who goes with them, but they're the cream of the crop, and because it's only a small amount of people, they're really able to tailor your free time, so they'll ask for information on what you're interested in doing, and they'll try and make some really good recommendations and open doors and reservations for your free time that you have as well. So really, really, really the experts in that as well. So a couple of our most popular trips in luxury gold, and I'll talk about two of them. And we've got the Majesty of the Rockies. Canada is booming at the moment. 30% of all the trips we do across our touring brands are going to Canada. Now Sarah's going to chat to you now as well, but this is one of our most popular trips that we do into Vancouver. We do 2 nights there, and then we go on the coach up to Sun Peaks or Jasper, or I would say you definitely should be taking the option to upgrade to the Rocky Mountaineer Gold Leaf option. So I'm going to bring Sarah in if she's there. Hi, Sarah.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, absolutely. If you're doing this trip,
It's
you've
a
got to be doing
no-brainer.
Rocky Mountaineer.
It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. And that route in particular on this tour is one of the most spectacular. It goes past the highest peak in the Rockies, which is called Mount Robson. And, you're already doing a beautiful, indulgent holiday. Why not sit back and gold leaf with a glass of wine, try and spot a bear and take in the scenery. But I will be talking obviously a lot more about the route and the train in my presentation.
Thank you, Sarah. But yeah, absolutely no brainer. And it's just something that I'd say 80% of people will put on anyway as well. So we do 2 nights in Jasper, but again, accommodation, Jasper, Lake Louise and Banff. We're staying in the Fairmonts, the Fairmont, Lake Louise and Banff. Like we're really staying in the best properties. This trip then goes back and up to Whistler for a couple of nights, over to Victoria Island, and then back to Vancouver. And then there's an option to add on a cruise as well. So definitely bucket list trip, amazing, amazing trip. South America, this is one of my favorites. I've been to Peru. I spent a couple of months there about 10, 15 years, 12 years ago. This is a brilliant, brilliant itinerary. Into Lima for a couple of nights, staying in a lovely hotel downtown in Miraflores. Then we head out to the Sacred Valley, Ollantaytambo. Tambo. Everyone goes for Machu Picchu, but there's so much more to Peru. Ollantaytambo there, you get the train up to Machu Picchu. We stay in Aguascalientes, which is the town below Machu Picchu, for 2 nights, which really does make that so much more relaxing. A lot of trips try to do it in 1 night. 1 night there, go see Machu Picchu, and then back on the train. We do 2 nights, lovely hotel. Then we get the train back to Moray, and then we get the coach back to Cusco, which is a beautiful city. A couple of days in Cusco, fly down to Lake Titicaca and Puno, go out and see the indigenous population there in the Uras Islands, and amazing. Back up to Lima for another. So South America with luxury gold is one of the best. So what's new for 2022? I'm not going to go too much into it because Sarah is talking about trains, and I'll give you a little bit of a peek. We haven't released any information on this one yet, but because Sarah's talking about the amazing Rocky Mountaineer and people be interested in trains, this is a kind of a sneak peek. So for 2022 on our spectacular South Africa, which is a brilliant trip that we have down in South Africa, which does Cape Town and up to the national parks. You can add on the amazing Rabos Rail, which is a 3-night, 4-day trip all the way up to Victoria Falls. So absolutely amazing from Victoria in South Africa. So that's a real treat for anyone who's into the trains. And also the British Royale, which is a trip we have around the UK, which is very popular. We do sell it from Ireland. We're adding on 4 nights on board the Belmont Royal Scotsman luxury train as well. So I thought that'd be a good bit of synergy in our presentation tonight. As with certifications, it's all about your well-being. The concierge is there, your well-being director, your care team, all the protocols. It is a great product to go on if you're anyway nervous about traveling later on this year and once you've got the vaccination into next year, because we're going to look after all the touch points from start to finish, and the guys in Platinum will get you over there on the best possible flights and add-on nights pre and post to make it a comfortable experience as well. So great time to book at the moment. Canada in particular is really, really busy. The Rocky Mountaineers, I'm sure Sarah will chat to you now, forward booking on that is unbelievable. People who maybe are supposed to go 2 years ago, and now they've pushed it forward to this year or for next year. So really, really time to, if you're particularly on the Rocky Mountaineer and a lot of those trips as well. So we can save up to €600 per person at the moment, plus an additional exclusive for Platinum Travel. Paula and Kira have all those details. And that, in a nutshell, is two amazing brands of Inside Vacation and Luxury Gold. So Kira, back over to yourself.
My goodness, Brian, that was brilliant. I know I'm saying it every night, but every time I look at these videos and images, I just get blown away, absolutely blown away. The first video, I have to say, is real emotional. I put it in the chat box there. It really just makes you want to be with everybody again, you know, and travel again and meet new people. And it's a really good video. Whoever put that together, it's an excellent.
It is, and I think that's what escorted holidays, and going on the trains and you're sitting down having a cup of tea or a glass of wine, a beer with someone, catching up, people that are not in your own little bubble is the new word. So that's what travel, that's what we all miss. We're all social people. We need that interaction. I think going on a trip and meeting someone in a different country is definitely.
Can I ask you a question? It's probably a similar question to last night. What is the biggest myth that you think there is about escorted touring? And I know we've discussed this loads of times. Do you call it guided vacation, escorted touring? But it's something we come across, and I think the word is getting out there better, especially when we do the likes of tonight. But when people hear escorted touring, they get scared.
People think.
I'd love to know what you think.
Well, people think CIE trip, kind of like. They'll think like a Japanese tourist in town with a flag and going around. Or what was the gentleman that was on the news? I was on the Francis Brennan's, where he's dragging them up out of bed in the morning time. So that's a misconception. But listen, there are trips that are like that. I suppose at the higher end of the market, and you're kind of in Trafalgar, Inside, Luxury Gold, they're perfectly balanced. Like they've taken all these any kind of chinks. And people going, oh, that trip was too long, or we need an extra day there. These itineraries develop and mature with feedback. So they do the tweaks. We have some mornings where we'd have a departure. We could be staying in bed at, it wouldn't be up till 10 o'clock in the morning. Some of them, again, particularly that easy pace ones where you have 3 nights in the one location. So I would say pick a destination or pick a touring type that's going to fit. If you want to see lots of things, do a discovery. If you want to see lots of different countries, do a regional. If you want to relax and enjoy the destination, do an easy pace. Yeah. So it really is down to the travel agent to make sure that they put the right person on the right trip.
On the right trip. But it's true. It's all about listening completely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to note about the tailor-made groups as well, because that's something that you guys are brilliant at, and you have people all over the world. So if somebody sees a trip that they like, but they want to tweak it slightly, and they have their group of 12 or 13, it could be too fast.
It's one of the biggest. Yeah, it's one of the biggest. Pivots is the word we use quite a lot into the moment, but we would have had an off-the-shelf itinerary, and that's the date, and that's it. But because of COVID, and now people want to travel in groups, we can take an itinerary, we can start it on the day that you wanted, we can tweak it, we can add days on, we can reduce, we can take stuff in. You'll have your travel director there. We could finish with 3 or 4 days on the beach somewhere. We can really bespoke absolutely everything if you have the numbers. Minimum numbers on it is 10 actually to bespoke it. Or you go on a private one off the shelf that we have on the departure, it's 12 as well. But seen a lot of it. Seen a few from Ireland, lots in the UK. They're a little bit ahead of us with the bookings, but people are interested. They're just getting maybe 2 or 3 family groups together. Could be grandparents, 2 of the kids, and they have a couple of kids or whatever it would be, and certainly make up 12 or 15 people quickly, a couple of families. And again, it's a real multi-generational trip.
That's the whole point, is that you can do it. So don't ever think it can't be done. It can be done. It's just a matter of asking the question. Yeah. So Paula, do you have any questions there you've been looking after?
Yeah, there's something out. There's actually 2 in from Neil. The first one is the small private groups that you've just touched on. You've mentioned there was as few as 12, but what is the maximum?
Well, the maximum, depending on because we can do it across our different touring brands. So our coaches go up to, on a Trafalgar, we can get up to about 49, 50 people on it. So that'll be a big group. But yeah, generally people that are looking for the groups are looking for smaller groups of 12 to 18, people. That's generally what it is. But we go up to say 40 on an Insight coach and up to 50 on a Trafalgar.
Perfect.
And the second question, it's kind of multi-layered. So he's asking, do Luxury Gold and Insight and Rocky Mountaineer, they'd be asking the same question to Sarah, currently require all passengers to be fully vaccinated? And if not, do you think they might do in the future? And
Yes.
on top of that, then it's are many people actually asking if the groups are vaccinated before they
Yes. So
travel?
at the moment, there's not a requirement. The procedures and protocols that we have in place have been signed off by the WTTC and the WHO. So we can operate tomorrow and be approved by. It'll really come down to the local government. But I would assume, Neil, that I would say most travel later on in the year will require a vaccination. I think that's the way to go. I think that's what the airlines might do, but it will come down to the local government. But the procedures that we have in place at the moment, we could operate a trip tomorrow and meet all the requirements. But I think now we're so close to the vaccination, getting in the arm. I think people will be traveling. 90%, 95% will want it, but I think it might be mandatory sooner rather than later. But we'll see in the next weeks and months to come.
Absolutely.
Okay, and sorry, Sarah has just asked, how long do passengers spend on the coach? So I suppose in between.
That depends. It really depends on the itinerary. We wouldn't be driving for more than 2.5 hours. I've done a couple of these beautiful trips, and there'll always be a break, whether it be a lunch break, whether it be just a toilet break. But yeah, make sure if you're worried about doing too much, it's always about the different way of experiencing those. Easy pace will be more leisurely, but you won't be driving on a coach for more than 2.5 hours without a toilet break or a refreshment break. But the beauty of going with Inside Vacations or Luxury Gold is those big seats, lots of leg room. I mean, I know people go over to the States and Canada quite a lot, and they might pay for a premium economy or business class seat for 9, 10 hour, 12-hour trip, and then go on a coach experience for 10, 12 days and might feel a little bit cramped in. I would say spend the money on your 12-day itinerary with your extra legroom than maybe upgrading your flight to premium or business class. But that's what we are aiming for, that to make it most leisurely, relaxed. You got Wi-Fi on board, your toilets are on board. But every 2.5 hours maximum the coach will stop. But some itineraries you might have a 2.5 hour, and then you might have a break, and then you might drive for 2 hours as well. So it is a touring product, but we make it as leisurely and relaxed as possible. And our demographic will want that.
I think we've yet to have any client come back and say they didn't have a good time. And I have to say it was brilliant at the Holiday World show, which we missed terribly this year. My goodness, Maureen and all the gang at the Holiday World show in Dublin in the RDS. It's just one of these things we do every year. But for a number of years, you had a coach. I don't like call it a coach, or we like
it's a coach. Listen, we get too fussy. It's a coach. It's a tour, and we go on tours. We've been a bit precious and we're calling them, holidays, but it's a tour. Yeah.
But the coach was there, and people pleasantly surprised when they got on. Saying, "Jesus, they didn't realize that this is what it was going."
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Like, I mean, I'd be up 6 foot and be sitting down, stretch your legs out. There's not a bad seat on the coach. The seats used to be rotated, so you'd always kind of move seats. But I think in a COVID world, they'll give you one seat and you'd save it at that. But there's not a bad seat, and you go that beautiful big vista window. So again, if you're on a 2.5 hour trip between destinations, you're looking out the window, and again,
those huge windows, of course, like they're
massive windows, air conditioning, Wi-Fi on board. So it is very, very, very luxury. And again, I think the whole thing as well, that again, briefly, I don't want to take too much time. Escorted touring, it's the things you don't think about. Okay, so you check into a hotel, you do a fly drive over in the States, beautiful way of seeing things, but you're getting a car, you're driving, you're picking the car up, you're getting used to driving onto the opposite side of the road, you're checking into a hotel, you're parking your car, you're paying for parking, you've got taxes and charges, you go in, you've got a credit card, and you're checking into a hotel with your passport. No problem at all. You could be doing that 5 or 6 or 7 times. So again, if you're looking for a relaxing holiday, maybe there's more a way of relaxing, and that would be in a Escort where you don't do any of that. Your travel director gets you on the coach. You go in, you walk into the hotel, they hand you your key, you go straight to your room, you don't touch your bags. Your bags go straight up to the room. Again, we have all the protocols in relation to hygiene. You could go have a sleep, or you could go back down for dinner. If you're leaving the next morning, push your bag outside, you go on the coach, and then your bag comes magically onto the coach, and then that's it. So you're not lifting chairs. So it's all about, it's not a major selling point, but it's just relaxing. And when you get it done, you're kind of going, oh God, that is the way to travel. No bags.
You're in safe hands. It's all the little
And
things. You're in
it's the
safe
same on the Rocky Mountaineer when they transfer your bags as
They
well.
have windows too. They have big windows too.
Absolutely beautiful windows. Just they have bigger windows than us.
Exactly. Yeah. Any more questions there, Paula? She's frozen
Dress
on.
code, smart casual. Dress code.
Ian said it's a typical woman question. Is dress smart casual?
Relaxed, completely relaxed. I've been on ones when people have been in shorts and t-shirts. Dress for the weather, and if you're going somewhere nice in the evening, I'm sure you'll probably want to dress nice and coordinated. It's very, very relaxed. It's a holiday.
Yeah.
And actually, sorry, Neil, it's just popped in one more just before you finish up there, Brian. Can you reserve a particular seat or seats in advance on the coach?
No, you can certainly ask the travel director if you have certain requirements. You need to be close to maybe for access maybe, but they usually would have rotated the seats so everyone got a seat at the front and you'd be at the back for your duration. But now that COVID want to be allocating it, but yeah, you can listen. If you ask a certain person, I'm sure they could help you out. You can't do it in advance, but if you have a reason why, or again it's a preference, just mention it in advance. We'll certainly try help everyone out to make it a bit more comfortable.
Right, and we have a few, when we're finished with Sarah's, we have a few prices, just example prices of a couple of ideas, but there's hundreds and hundreds of tours. And just to say as well, next week, because it's USA week, and I agree with Brian completely, a fly drive isn't for everybody. It really isn't. And sometimes you want to be just...
And the tour is not for everyone as well. It's just, it's down to personal needs, yeah.
Yeah, but across the whole travel corporation, all the brands that you guys have, the Trafalgar, the Cost Saver, across that brand, right up to Luxury Gold, they're all, you have them all over the States. So next week, when people are looking at destinations in the States, it doesn't have to be a fly drive, it can be a tour, Yeah,
and it can be, you can start from the bottom and have a Cost Saver, which is more of an independent tour where you're getting the benefit of your expert and your transportation, but you're getting the freedom then to really tailor make it yourself and have lots of free time, all the way up to Luxury Gold, where it's most of the stuff is done for you, and it's so you can have both ends of the scale depending on what your preference is as well.
Perfect.
So if it's not luxury and you want flexibility,
yeah,
you've got Cost Saver and Trafalgar which have that as well.
Yeah, and we'll definitely touch on those next week without a doubt. So should you think we should let Sarah in now? Should we let her say?
Yeah, she's waited long enough, absolutely.
Right, Sarah, so you're all set. Are you ready to tick your boxes and share your screen? And
I am indeed.
Okay, now I'm going to mute. Well, and good luck. No.
Technology is on my side. Let's have a look at this.
Yeah, we can see it perfect. And once your menu goes off your screen, then those black marks will go. So just wait for your menu bar to go. It should disappear. I think maybe click on it somewhere, click on the black, and one more time on the black, it should disappear somewhere. As soon as you stop seeing them on the screen, the black marks will disappear off the screen. That's one gone.
Is that gone?
The second one's not gone yet. It's the I'm sure everybody can see it. Don't worry. It's the menu bar that you have that has your mute, chat, Q&A, all that.
Yeah.
You just need to get rid of that.
Right. Can I not get rid of that?
Mine was the same. It actually times out eventually. So if you want to leave it, it's moved up the top now. If you leave it there, it'll actually time out again. And if you don't touch it, yeah. So I'll let you get on with it. It's all grand now. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Kira. And thank you so much, Brian. Such a fantastic push for Rocky Mountaineer. I'm very, very much appreciative. But in all honesty, I've done a few escorted tours on my own holiday, and they are the most relaxing, stress-free things ever. And also, I just love bypassing everybody in all the queues to the museums. I love being the first one in there. And so, yeah, I definitely think there's an escorted tour for everyone, and certainly obviously combinable with Rocky Mountaineer as well. So I'm here today to talk to you about our fabulous train in Western Canada. And also at the end of this presentation, I'm going to talk you through our brand new route, which is really, really exciting, which has launched in the USA. So I often think I have the best job in the world. I've been lucky enough to go on Rocky Mountaineer 7 times. I was hoping to be in double digits, but unfortunately COVID has put a bit of a spanner in the works. But today I'm going to transport you over to Western Canada so you get a feel for what Rocky Mountaineer is all about. In 2020, we should have been celebrating our 30th birthday. We're actually still a privately owned, family-run business out of Vancouver. But I think all of us, birthdays didn't happen last year, so we're going to have to postpone our celebrations till everybody can join us on the train. So I'm going to begin by playing you a short video, and hopefully this will bring the whole experience to life. So fingers crossed this works. Lots of video this evening. So Rocky Mountaineer is very unique, and I know Brian's talked about some other luxury trains across the world, but the unique thing about Rocky Mountaineer is that we only travel in daylight hours. Two main reasons for that. One being, if we travelled at night, you wouldn't get to see all this incredible scenery. And secondly, it's not always the most comfortable experience to sleep in a train. So we'll always put you up in a comfortable and clean hotel. We've got 3 routes for you to choose from in Western Canada. Now, do bear in mind, Canada's about 80 times the size of Ireland. So it is a really, really big place. And we're really just running in quite a small part of it. So we go through the 2 provinces of British Columbia and Alberta.
Sarah, I'm going to interrupt you for one quick second. Sorry, just I'm sure it's saying that there's still a black mark on the right. I think, have you a menu drop down on the right hand side? You can just click anywhere to get off that. There's just a tiny bit of the map missing. Sorry to interrupt everybody.
No, not at all. Has that got? Oh.
No, yeah. So anything other than your screen, your slide that you're trying to show, if we can remove that. And the only way to do it is to.
Oh, there we go. Does that work?
That's better. And that menu, yeah, and just don't touch anything other than your arrows and it should be okay. There you go. Perfect now. Perfect. Ideal.
Oh, we needed
to interrupt you, Sarah.
Few technical issues just to make sure everyone was paying attention, didn't we? So the 3 routes that we've got will either go out of Vancouver in towards the Rockies. So you've got the places like Banff and Lake Louise and Jasper in Alberta, or you can start your journey with us in Alberta in the Rockies and work your way down towards Vancouver. So the 3 routes that we have I will talk about now. First Pass to the West is actually our most popular rail route, and this is our most historic as well. So this railroad was built to link British Columbia to the rest of Canada. So there's lots of interesting stories that you're told on this train, because I'm sure, as you can imagine, building a train through the Rockies is no mean feat. So if you're into engineering, First Pass to the West is the one to go for. But this is a 2-day consecutive rail route linking Vancouver and Banff. And I'm going to talk as if you are heading eastbound, but obviously do bear in mind you could switch your journey and travel westbound if you prefer. So on First Pass to the West, you're going to start your journey in beautiful Vancouver. I actually used to live here for a year. This photo always breaks my heart every time I see it. I actually only left Canada because my visa expired and I cried the entire 9.5-hour flight home, and I'm still not totally recovered. But for those of you that don't like cities, Vancouver, I promise you, will change your perceptions of cities because it is unlike any other. It's got this incredible backdrop of sea and mountain. And if you are doing an Alaska cruise that goes out of Vancouver, you've got this incredible sail away with these skyscrapers and Stanley Park. And it's just a really great city to spend a couple of days in. Here's just some of the activities that you might be looking to do when you're in Vancouver. We've got Capilano Suspension Bridge at the top here. Probably not the best thing if you're scared of heights, but it is in this incredible park in North Vancouver. You're suddenly out of the city and then you're in this incredible forest. Bottom left-hand side, we've got two people really enjoying themselves on bikes. There is something called the Sea Wall that actually goes all the way around the downtown Vancouver area. It's completely flat, really lovely to walk or hire a bike, and it goes into Stanley Park as well. And then a really fab thing to do, one of the best things I've ever done, is take a seaplane out of Vancouver Harbour. And interestingly enough, Vancouver Harbour is the busiest seaplane port anywhere in the world. So if you're staying in Vancouver and have got a downtown hotel with views over the bay, all day long, you'll just see all these planes coming into land and then taking off again. There's loads and loads of kind of islands and inlets all around Vancouver. So people are whizzing in and out all of the time. So back to the train, you're going to leave Vancouver in the morning, head kind of up past the coastal mountains, follow the Fraser Valley and Thompson River up towards Kamloops. So this is going to be your evening destination where you disembark the train and head to your hotel accommodation. Next day, you're going to board the train early doors in the morning again, and then head on up into true Rockies scenery. So this day is really, really spectacular. For the eagle-eyed amongst you, you might actually realize that this is not Lake Louise, it's actually Moline Lake. It's very, very close to Lake Louise, and it's just from the Lake Louise train station where you access this. But if you've ever got a Lonely Planet Canada book, or ever seen, you know, an image that represents Canada, it's more often than not this stunning lake. And then you can either choose to start or end your journey in Banff as well. So this is the main high street here. It's a fabulous little mountain town with real kind of Western flavour. You'll actually see people walking down the street, perhaps in cowboy boots and cowboy hats. And then you've got Cascade Mountain at the back here. And the one thing I'd say about this presentation is that the images I'm showing you really do not do Canada justice. The scale of Canada is unlike anything we have in Europe. The mountains are insane, and I really can't, unfortunately, get that across to you in your screens at home, but you'll see it for yourself, hopefully, when you get to Canada. One thing that I would definitely recommend you do in Banff is head up Sulphur Mountain. So it's actually a mountain that's opposite this mountain here, Cascade Mountain. And you'll go up Banff Gondola and you'll get incredible views of the Rockies from up there. So our next rail route that we offer is Journey Through the Clouds, which obviously, as Brian mentioned, is part of the Luxury Gold Tour. So this is another 2-day consecutive rail route, but this time you head up slightly further north to Jasper, and you'll actually pass Mount Robson, which, as I mentioned, is the highest peak in the Rockies, and it's the mountain that you can see here in this image. Now, this mountain is so high, it actually has its own microclimate. So the people taking photographs off the train on this particular day got super lucky, because more often than not, it's actually covered by cloud at the top of the mountain. But this route has the same first day between Vancouver and Kamloops, but you'll actually head on up towards Jasper instead. So Jasper's a kind of less touristy Banff. There's a very small little mountain town, and there's actually a resident herd of elk that greet the train as we pull into Jasper station. So that's always a nice way to begin your journey with us in Jasper. And then third and finally in Canada, we've got our Rainforest to Gold Rush route. Now, if you're into train journeys, this is a fabulous one to consider because it actually gives you an extra half day on the train. So you have 2 overnight stops in this one being in Whistler and one being in the Gold Rush town of Quesnel. So if you're going eastbound again, it's a shorter journey between Vancouver and Whistler, only about 3 hours on the train. The other days are normally a full day, around about 10 hours. But Whistler is, as you can see here, the co-host of the Winter Olympics in 2010. So you can see the Olympic rings here. This is probably going to be, I would suggest, a kind of October, November photograph. As you can see, the snow settling where the ski runs are. But Whistler's fabulous in the summer. It's got really upmarket eating options, loads of boutique shops, and it's also home to many resident black bears. They all kind of linger on the golf course there. In actual fact, the first black bear I ever saw was when I was living in Whistler. I opened my curtains one morning and there was a black bear in my garden. But if you're in Whistler in the summer, I would suggest that you'll get pretty lucky and you should see a black bear. And then Quesnel is really quite small. It's a place actually where prospectors went to go and find gold. They didn't actually get very lucky, unfortunately, but this is what Quesnel is famous for now. And then on Rainforest to Gold Rush, you will finish your journey in Jasper again. So that's your 3 routes to pick from. When to travel? Now, I mentioned that we're a daylight service only, so we don't actually operate in winter months because the winter daylight hours are few and far between. And also, we hopefully will allow you to see some wildlife, and they're all hibernating in the winter months. So I always get asked, when's the best time of year to travel? And it kind of really depends on what you want from your holiday. If you want to see wildlife and you want to see bear cubs, I would suggest spring to you. So this would be kind of April, May going into June. I did an April departure once, and within an hour coming into Banff, I saw 8 bears. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the capacity to guarantee that for you, but spring is definitely the best time for wildlife. Summer is when everything's in full bloom, so you get all the wildflowers, all the lakes have thawed, and you get all this beautiful kind of emerald green colour here. And then fall, autumn, my favourite time of year to go. I love the tree changing. This photograph is probably late September. And the nice thing about going to the Rockies in autumn is that a lot of the tourists have cleared out as well. So it's a little bit quieter and you don't have to kind of elbow everyone to get the most perfect photograph. And then wildlife. So at the top here, we've got a black bear. Now, for every 100 black bears, there is 1 grizzly bear. And I actually have only ever seen 1 grizzly bear once in my entire life. Bear in mind, I used to live in Canada, and that actually was from the train itself. And it was coming into Banff. And if you get a spare 5 minutes, do Google him. He's called the Boss, and he is the resident grizzly bear around Lake Louise, and he's got quite the reputation. So definitely have a look at the Boss. Eagles, I can pretty much guarantee you will see. We've also got big horned sheep, which is the photograph in the middle. They are in kind of herds and they're all around Kamloops, and they're really well kind of camouflaged in that desert aridy landscape. And then we've got the elusive moose. They are really, really hard to find. They are quite scared of people, to be honest. And then on the train itself, we've got 2 levels of service for you to pick from. So Silverleaf is probably what about 30% of our clients go for. So this is a single level carriage. You'll get your meals and drinks served to you at your seats. And the one thing with Rocky Mountaineer is that we really want to make sure you are truly indulged, truly spoiled, but also really feel like you're in Canada. So we want to offer an authentic Canadian experience. So all the food will be locally sourced and produce. It'll be things like British Columbia salmon, Alberta beef. All the wines will be from the Okanagan Valley. And you might scoff at the idea of Canadian wine, but actually it's really, really delicious. And the thing about the hosts on board as well is that most of them are Canadian. Most of them have worked with us for many, many years. And Canadians are the friendliest people in the world, and they also have a great sense of humour. So as you can see from this image, it's really social, it's really informal. You'll interact with the guests and you will get a good laugh from the hosts as well. Goldleaf is our second option for you to choose from, and this is probably what 70% of our clients do go for. So this, I'm definitely a Goldleaf girl, I must admit. This is the way to travel in real style, and it really is kind of a bucket list holiday. And I think if you're only going to travel once in this part of the world, you've really got to do Goldleaf. So it's double decker. So few key differences between a Goldleaf and a Silverleaf carriage. First one is the top level is where you're going to sit for the duration of the day. So you actually sit really up high, and we've got these incredible glass dome windows. So when you're sat up there, you're really immersed in the scenery. There'll be eagles and hawks that go right over your head, and you're above the tree line for a lot of the day as well. This is Castle Mountain, one of my favourite mountains in the Rockies. It's really, really unique. And again, I cannot believe how deceptive this image is. In real life, it is just colossal. You've also got a downstairs dining carriage, and you've also got an outside vestibule area. So the vestibule area is really, really lovely because you can go and get some clean Rockies air, take some photographs without battling the reflection of the glass. And I'm going to play you a short video now for Goldleaf. So here's just some of our sample hotels that you can stay in, but the standard of accommodation in Canada is really good. And obviously Platinum can work with you to get a perfect itinerary for you. So just a typical day on board the train. You'll join pretty early with us in the morning. The train manager will actually walk down the entire length of the train and do a toast with you. It's all inclusive when you're on the train as well. So you don't need to put your hands into your pockets for anything at all, apart from gratuities, but they are a discretionary amount. And you'll have a breakfast and lunch on board with us. But bear in mind, this is Canadian sized portions. I promise you, you will not go hungry. Our aim is to actually feed you every 45 minutes. So you'll probably be rolling off the train at the end of the day. Hopefully you'll see some wildlife, and our hosts will really bring the whole thing to life for you. So they will story tell throughout the day. They'll point out any historic landmarks, and they're also all linked by radio. So if someone at the front of the train sees a bear, they radio through to all their other colleagues saying, get your cameras ready, there's a bear coming up on the right. And then it's really good fun and carnage as everybody tries to get the best photograph. And then in the evening, we'll roll into your evening destination. We'll roll out the red carpet. You'll go into a coach, which will take maybe 5 or 10 minutes to take you to your hotel. And your bags are actually going to be waiting for you in your hotel room when you arrive. So as Brian said, this is the ease of kind of letting somebody else do it all for you. We actually give you your hotel room key when you're sat on the train itself. So you don't even have to check in at the hotel. Next morning, you leave your bags in the hotel, off they go again, and you repeat. So it's a really indulgent, relaxing 2-day journey. Lots of different options once you've done your kind of 2 days on the train. You can do an escorted tour like Brian mentioned. You could do a self-drive option as well. And obviously Platinum can work with you to get your perfect trip booked. I definitely recommend considering an Alaska cruise edition. Lots of different options from either Seattle and Vancouver. Mostly they're kind of 7 nights, but Alaska, I was lucky enough to do a Holland America cruise about 3 years ago now. And there was something so fabulous about sitting on the back of a deck, all wrapped up in a blanket with a cocktail and seeing the whale spouts come up. It's one of the best things I've ever done. And then very, very quickly to finish off, I'm going to talk you through our brand new route that has launched in November last year, and it's called Rockies to the Red Rocks. So for the first time, we've branched out of Canada and we are now in the States. So I'm going to play you another very short video, and bear in mind this is a bit of a concept video because our train is actually still in Canada. It's not in the USA yet. So we've used a bit of artistic license, but hopefully this will give you an idea of what the new route's going to be like.
An extraordinary place deserves an extraordinary way to see it. Our newest route, Rockies to the Red Rocks, brings 30 years of Rocky Mountaineer's world-class service to the stunning desert vistas of the American Southwest. Traveling from the vibrant Denver, Colorado, past some of nature's wonders, vast canyons, chromatic deserts, and panoramic views, to the mesmerizing red rock landscapes that twist through the bright blue sky. It's rail travel at its best. After all, if you're going to see an extraordinary place, you want an extraordinary way to see it.
Okay, so this is our new route in USA. So again, you're not sleeping on the train, you will sleep in hotel accommodation. And it's another 2-day consecutive journey. So it's linking Denver in Colorado, so the American Rockies this time, to Moab in Utah, which is known as the gateway to the Mighty 5 national parks in Utah. So it's the red route is the train itself. You'll also see on here that we've marked Salt Lake City and Vegas. So you've got various options to go to either. You could either do a self-drive package or an escorted tour and make the most out of those national parks in Moab as well. I'm not going to talk too much about Utah and Colorado today, but luckily enough for you guys, there is another presentation with Platinum Travel with my friends at Utah and Colorado Tourist Board on the 29th of March. So that will give you even more of an idea of what these destinations are like. But on day one, I'm going to talk this time westbound. So you're going to be starting your journey with us in Denver and working your way into Utah. So this day is a 9 to 5 day. Lots of kind of interesting scenery on this day. So steep canyon lands. We actually follow the Colorado River for 60% of this journey as well. Really, really different to Canada, but very, very kind of remote, steep mountains again, and some good wildlife opportunities too. And then the second day, you'll have actually spent your night in a resort town of Glenwood Springs, which I will touch on. You'll get on board the train at around 7 a.m. in the morning, and you'll arrive into Moab at noon. And on this day, you are entering into the true wild, wild west. I think you will all need a cowboy hat for this day. And here you'll get to see some of these incredible kind of alien landscapes, these beautiful red rocks, which is obviously why we've named the route after them. But something so amazing, something that we don't have in Europe at all. And what a way to see it, sitting back with a glass of wine and soaking it all up. 2 levels of service on this route again. Now, we don't actually have our gold leaf carriages because actually there's a tunnel called Moffat Tunnel outside Denver. It has a height restriction and our gold leaf carriages are too tall for it. So we're bringing our silver leaf carriages down to this route, which is obviously an amazing experience. We get fantastic feedback from our silver leaf clients, but we also have something called Silver Leaf Plus. So you'll be sitting in a silver leaf carriage, but we will also be having a lounge car, which we're renovating into a kind of American style bar where you'll be able to go and have cocktails, you'll be able to interact with other guests, and you're going to have elevated drinks and dining options as well. So if you want a bit of added luxury in your life, definitely go for Silverleaf Plus. Just going to touch on the destinations briefly. We've got Moab, Glenwood Springs, and Denver. Denver is known as the Mile High City. So it's got this kind of great downtown cosmopolitan area, very, very walkable. And then you can see the American Rockies in the background. It's also known as the Napa Valley of craft beer. So if any of you are into beer, Denver is going to be the place for you. So you can do a mile-long route, which goes around all the little breweries in Denver. But it's a great city to spend a couple of nights, lots of museums, great shopping, and as I say, all very, very compact. Glenwood Springs is where you're going to be spending your night off the train. And this is a really lovely little resort town. So it's where actual residents in Colorado will go for their weekend stays, and it's really famous for it's the largest hot springs pool in the world. It's actually bigger than a football pitch, and it's open till 9 or 10 p.m. in the evening. So the nice thing about this is you'll have had a very kind of relaxing, indulgent day on the train. We'll pull into Glenwood Springs, and then you'll be able to go to the hot springs pool in the evening. But loads of kind of upmarket restaurants, cuisine for every kind of taste, nice little boutique shops, and a nice little compact town to wander around. And then Moab is, as I mentioned, the gateway to the Mighty Five National Parks. Quite a little creative, arty town, high standard of accommodation. And then you've got the Arches National Park and Canyonlands National Park within really, really short distance of Moab. This is Arches at the very top here. As you can see, just unbelievable rock formations and yeah, truly spectacular. This is just a kind of idea of something that you might want to do. So you do your 2 days on the train, spend a couple of nights in Moab and do an escorted tour, get to see Canyonlands, Dead Horse Point, and work your way down to Vegas via the other national parks. So you've got Bryce Canyon, Capitol Reef, and Zion. So again, you can work with Platinum and they can get something created for you. And then finally, just going to touch on our promotion for 2022. 2022 is selling like hotcakes at the moment. I think everyone's just desperate to go on holiday. I know after seeing Brian's presentation and the videos, I need to get myself booked up on a few things. So now really is the time to get these bucket list trips sorted and get the perfect holiday for you, as I think everyone deserves it after the last couple of years. So our all aboard promotion for 2022 will actually give you 650 euros of added value things to your holiday. So you get 2 additional hotel nights. So you'd probably want to add those into Vancouver. You get an airport transfer and a dinner as well. I'm just going to have a little bit of a showing off moment here. There's just some of our awards that we've won. We're regularly voted the best train ride in the world. And I couldn't finish off without a photo of a waving bear. So that is Rocky Mountaineer in a nutshell. So back to you, Kira.
I leave that picture up for a sec, Sarah. That's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Isn't that fabulous? I presume this is a real picture that came from a real.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's my photography skills, obviously.
Absolutely brilliant. Really, oh, that was fab. Absolutely. I was really looking forward to tonight and really looking forward to hearing all about the Rocky Mountaineer, because I know your stuff is really out of this world. I will be honest, I'm so excited about Utah, Colorado, the Denver to Moab, Denver to Salt Lake City. I mean, that is just out of this world. And because we specialize in fly drives, it's the perfect addition to one of our fly drive trips. Absolutely perfect. So you could just, fly into Denver, do your trip all around Colorado, then join and then do it the other end as well, or just do it one end. I mean, there's so much choice that you can do. So so I'll go straight on because I'm conscious of time there. So Paula, do you want to jump in with a question so far? I have a couple of notes here.
Sure. Donal, actually, his question actually came in fairly early in the evening. He wants to know if he can have a chance of driving the train if he was a passenger.
Well, we're not recruiting at the moment for train drivers, unfortunately. But certainly, if you were to come on the train, do let me know, and I'll see if I can see if you can have a chat with the driver. I'm not sure you'll be able to drive it, but you might be able to have a chat with him.
Caroline actually posted, what's the best time of year to do the Rocky Mountaineer trip? And then you actually covered that just after the question came in.
Yeah,
which was
depends on what you're after, really. Yeah.
Neil is asking both of you, gratuities, are they included in the prices? And if not, what kind of budget would you suggest?
Ours aren't included, but they're not like a cruise line where you have a fixed price and you have to pay it. It is discretionary. You could walk away without paying any gratuities. I would suggest if you're taking any trip to North America, you don't do that. They'd be probably quite offended. But typically for Silver Leaf clients, we say $35 per couple, and then $50, this Canadian dollars, per couple for Gold Leaf clients, as a rough guide.
Yeah, exactly. I'll come in there if you can hear me there. Yeah. Yeah, we don't, exactly likewise. We don't include them in the pricing, but you actually can pay them in advance, which is a nice way of doing it. But as like Sarah said, if you're in the States or North America, there is an expectation. But I would kind of give it maybe $10 per person per day is kind of like a good guide. So that would match what Sarah's doing, a 3-day trip. You're kind of talking $10, $12 a day, that kind of thing as well. And yeah, obviously if you get exceptional service and you're delighted, but you can give more. But it's definitely part of the expectation, and it's particularly in North America.
And Sarah, just going back to the question that Neil had asked Brian then as well in relation to vaccinations.
Oh yeah.
Is it compulsory at the moment, or other guests asking about it? Or
lots of asking about it. Yeah, it's not compulsory at the moment. My answer echoes Brian's. We're monitoring the situation. We have to do what Canada says as well, the Canadian government. I think it's highly likely that we'll be moving in that direction, to be perfectly honest, but it's not been called just yet. But I think the whole travel industry is going that route.
A decision will be made for us, as we said last night, won't it? It'll just be guided by the governments and the countries that we're visiting, and the rules will be rules. And we'll all adapt, like the way we adapted to the 100 mils in the plastic bags and all the other things that we had to adapt to. So
yeah, or if you were going to certain countries in South America, or you had to have a yellow fever vaccination cert.
Absolutely,
exactly.
Same thing. Yeah,
absolutely. Sorry, Paul, I interrupted you there. Is there any more questions coming in from your end?
No, not at all. The other thing was somebody, Mary's just asked about the panoramic helicopter that's mentioned on some of the slides on your website.
Yes, yeah. So the helicopter tour, we're not actually booking that directly ourselves for 2022, but it's still there. So obviously, Platinum, you guys could put a helicopter tour together, and actually you could do that on either of the routes. You could do a helicopter tour in Canada. You could even do it over Grand Canyon if you wanted to do like Grand Canyon with our route in the States. So yeah, lots of options.
This is the thing with the US and with Canada. The world is your oyster. You can literally do a bit. You can cruise, rail, drive, tour. You can do so much. You can go in the sky. There's so many options when it comes to the States of putting things together and tailor making. Like, it's what we do all day, every day here. Well, not so much all day, every day at the moment. We have in normal times, exactly. Yeah. What we've done is we've a couple of specials, just a couple of ideas of prices that we said we'd show everybody before we go, because again, everything that these guys do have add-ons and different date prices. So it's very hard to kind of drill down into one price because you've so many tours, Brian, and there's so many different combinations with you, Sarah. So we have a couple that we'll run through very quickly just to give people a little bit of an indication. I see now, I'll get down here. Where am I gone? Okay, so that one first of all. Oh, there you are, Brian. You presented again.
Hey.
There you go. Exactly. Okay, so here's a couple. Do you want to run through those, Paula? The ones that we briefly, just to give people an idea. And again, you can explain that they vary a lot.
Of course. I mean, Sarah went through all these three actually very comprehensively, which was great. But it was just to give everybody that's attending an idea of prices. And as we've mentioned before, all our tours are completely tailor-made, so we can add on nights pre or post. They can be added onto fly drives. They can be added onto city breaks. So you've got Journey of the Clouds from April 2022, 9 nights from $3,995 per person. Or you could combine Alaska and the Rocky Mountaineer, and that's a 15-night trip. Prices there for September 22, $4,999 per person sharing. Or Rockies to Red Rocks, and you can combine a stay in Salt Lake City and then also an extra night in Denver at the end. So we have included the special offers that Sarah has mentioned there as well, and that's $2,559 per person. And as I say, just contact either Kira, our colleague Helen Kelly, or myself, and we can put together the packages for whatever dates. They're operating on various dates throughout the year, as are the Insight Vacations. We've got the Easy Pace Italy and the New England Foliage that Brian had already mentioned. There's an amazing Croatia Dalmatian Elegance tour, which is a night in Split and then 8 nights on a mega yacht, which is a real treat, all around the coast of Croatia. Including some of the islands, and you actually get to visit, I think, one of the birthplaces of Marco Polo. So if that's not relevant to the world reopening, I don't know what is. And then also Wonders of Turkey, 10 nights, April 22, but again, there's selected dates right throughout the year, and that's coming in at $2,562 per person. So all the extras and all the inclusions, we can send them all through. If they're of interest to anybody, we can send them through to you.
Brilliant stuff. So so much of what you are is where you've been. Absolutely no doubt about that. I think we'll all agree with that. It only enhances us every time we travel. For those of you, again, thank you so much if you've been here. For those of you that have been here all week, we are very, very grateful. Thank you for attending. All the new people attending tonight, and we're wonderful numbers. We're thrilled with people coming every night, hopefully getting you away from the mundane COVID world. I actually said the C word. I can't believe I've said it once. But we have a few more nights to go. So tomorrow night is our 5-star ocean cruising night with Silver Sea, Celebrity Cruises and Ponon. And if you were here on Tuesday with Brian and John last night, you'll have seen the world of river cruising. So if you want to see the other side of it, this is the ocean cruising, and it's lovely to get an overview of those 3 gorgeous products. Then next week is USA week. So an awful lot of what you saw this evening, we can drill down a little bit more on the actual destinations next week. So Utah and Colorado on Monday night, and Great America West. And for those of you that don't know, Great America West is made up of Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. And again, these can be done by tour, they can be done by RV, they can be done by fly drive. And of course, now we can do Utah and Colorado by rail. And then Brian also touched on New England in one of his tours. That's on March the 30th. So we'll have New England there, again, Capital Region, New York State and Philly. And then you can see the rest of the week there, Deep South and the West Coast. So we'll send reminders to everybody. And once again, just thank you all so much for joining us. We couldn't do without you. We're being inspired. So we hope we've brought a little bit of inspiration to you guys too. And we look forward to seeing those of you that are joining us tomorrow night. And thank you to Sarah and Brian. Sorry, I forgot to thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening. It was lovely to have you on.
Thank you for having us, and thank you everyone for joining as well. Thanks for joining us from your living rooms.
Absolutely. Great to be here again tonight. Thanks for having me last night as well. So best of luck with the rest of the week, and next week your USA trip, USA as well. So best of luck to you guys, and thanks for being a big supporter of myself and Sarah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.